Hi everyone, Christos Anesti, and welcome to another video from the St. George Coptic Orthodox Church of Greater Philadelphia's YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I hope you and your families are all staying safe during this Easter season. Today we're going to be talking about a story known as the Road to Emmaus, which is written in Luke chapter 24, right after the resurrection passage. So, this story takes place on the third day after Jesus' death on what we know as Easter Sunday. And it starts out with two apostles who are followers of Jesus, and they're traveling to a village called Emmaus, which is about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And on the way, they start talking about what had happened before and after the resurrection. And they're very confused, maybe even a little scared, because they don't really know what to think about this. And one of them is named Cleopas, but the other one doesn't have a name. So this is the road. As you can see, it's looks kind of hot. So this was not an easy journey to make, and it would take like almost the whole day. So, as they're walking, another man came up to them, and this man is Jesus. However, they don't recognize him. And so Jesus asked these two apostles what they're talking about. And Cleopas says that they're talking about past events that happened in Jerusalem just a few days ago about Jesus. And he says that some women, the two Marys and Salome, found the tomb empty and saw angels. And they said that he was alive. So obviously they're discussing this and they're very confused. And then Jesus tells them that, of course, the prophets predicted that Christ would have to suffer and then would enter into his glory. And Jesus starts to talk to them about the prophets like Moses and other Old Testament important figures. And he starts comparing Jesus to their prophecies. And along the way, they continue to have these theological discussions. Eventually, they reach Emmaus. However, it looks like Jesus is about to keep walking, but the two men invite Jesus as a guest into their home to stay with them because it was getting late in the day. And Jesus accepted. Now, at the time in the culture, when you had a guest, you would break bread. It was a sign of community, and you accepted them. So that's what they did. But when Jesus took the bread, they sat down at the table. He took the bread, he blessed it, he broke it, and then he gave it to them as a form of, and this was obviously a sign. And as soon as he broke it and gave it to them, their eyes were opened and they were able to see Jesus for who he really is. And they were amazed. But as soon as they did that, Jesus vanished from their eyes. Now let's pause for a minute and think about what this means. So when Jesus sanctified the bread, he performed Holy Communion. And just as we take Holy Communion every day, we should be inspired to go and tell other people and each other about Christ, and to live with a fire in our heart for God. And that's exactly what these two men did. As soon as they realized that it was Jesus, they immediately took off from Emmaus, went back on the 7-mile journey, back to Jerusalem to go back to the 11 disciples and the other apostles. And they confirmed that Jesus was alive, but some of them were a little bit skeptical. However, as soon as they came back and were telling people about Jesus, Jesus himself actually appeared in the midst of everyone there. And they were all amazed and shocked. And Jesus told them not to be afraid and to feel his hands, to feel his feet. And they did. So they knew that he wasn't a ghost. And he actually ate fish and honeycomb with them to show them that he was really alive and he defeated death. And he takes his followers out, he blesses them, and then he goes up into heaven. And so this is a really nice story about how Jesus cares about his people, comes back for them to show his resurrection and his glory to everyone. So here's a really easy memory verse that we can take away from this. Then their eyes were opened and they knew him. So you can pause the video for however long you need and see if you can memorize this. Then their eyes were opened and they knew him. Luke 24:31. All right, everyone. thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of this Pentecostal season. And uh, please grow in your faith and come closer to God. This is a great opportunity for all of us. And yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone.